we've got another partner shamer, and you know what partner shaming is, okay? It's when a person secretly records either something their partner did, a situation that's going on with their partner, something embarrassing their partner has done, and then they post it to the internet for all of us to make our own judgments about and leave whatever kind of comments we want, judging his character, maybe his physical appearance, but definitely the thing he did. Now, here's the thing about partner shamers too, is typically whatever the person did wrong is still something that was wrong. Very seldom is there actually a person being shamed who is 100% innocent in the situation. Okay, I think it's fair to go into that with that in mind. However, we're at episode 70 something by now, and so we have seen so many times how often the whole stage is actually set up. My husband made a comment that I do nothing around the house. Now, if that is something that he said, that's an awful thing to say to somebody, right? If that's what he said. So what does she do about this situation? It looks like she has a plan. So for 2 days, I really did nothing around the house. And again, the caption is, then I left town for a girls' trip. With the hashtag marriage humor. I'm failing to see the humor. I don't really see the funny part. There may be a rewarding aspect to you leaving that situation, getting out of it, leaving him to clean up after it. Look, I think that in every relationship to some capacity, it's pretty normal for couples to create some kind of a strike against the other, something to show them, look how much I really do, you're taking me for granted. And I actually fully support that when it's between the couple and not privately recorded and then blasted across all of social media to make all of our business. That's when it becomes a little bit of a different situation. She also posted this story that says, if you saw us in Philly last night on our girls' trip, no, you didn't. Which, I don't know, tell me how you guys feel, but posting something like this, to me, kind of felt like a little bit of an additional piece of trying to get the reaction. So, I get it. This guy made a really crappy comment. Now she needs to prove a point. Okay, I don't do anything around the house. Let's see what happens then when I absolutely heck off and you have to clean it yourself. Fair enough, right? But things like a girls' trip when you are married, this is just my opinion, but tell me if you feel differently about it, should be agreed upon and planned by both parties. I think that especially if you share children, which it appears that they do, you really should be making sure that trips like these line up with everyone's schedules, that everything is arranged ahead of time, that there's really no stress or anxiety. It's a totally different thing to very abruptly go on a girls' trip, to just up and leave during a conflict that is unresolved. That's where there's kind of a problematic piece that's not exactly being noticed or cared about in light of the grand gesture here, right? This big, I don't know if I want to call it revenge, what's a better word for what she thinks she's getting here? Redemption? This redemption arc, maybe? On this story, I did leave a comment. I'm curious how he feels about these vids. To which she replied, stay tuned. So you bet I did. You sure bet I did. And sure enough, we got an update. And I just need you guys, before we watch this update video together, to do whatever calms you for a moment, right? Because we've seen a lot of just kidding, we're fine videos in our day. Typically how it goes is like, oh, this was just a joke. You guys just don't get it. My husband's amazing. You guys are the problem. We're all used to that. I think that none of that is going to be a surprise. It's just that this one is the most deeply uncomfortable just kidding, we're fine video I have ever had to endure. I do not think that Michael Scott from The Office could have come out with a more uncomfortable, unsettling video if he tried. It is so cringy, and I just need you to go into this as a body image analyst, like a body language analyst. We all need to just put on our body language analyst hats for this video, because there is so much to look at, to observe from everything that we're about to see here.
I didn't do anything for 3 days just to show you.
Okay, I also want to point out something else that's happening right now. As she's beginning to tell this story, here it's, so you remember how like a couple days ago I left on a girls trip? Okay, this is another tool. This is another tool in the toxic femininity quiver, okay, that can just be like launched out on an arrow at any time. It's very similar to police voice, and it's what I call the giggle. And it's when a girl, or I guess in this case an aged woman, just starts to giggle as she tells you something in order to minimize the guilt, the accountability, or the actual toxicity that exists within what she's telling you. She's hoping that if she just giggles enough, that her cuteness will allow you to forgive whatever it is she's about to tell you she did. Okay? My daughter does this, and she's 6. Okay? And some people just don't grow out of it.
I remember.
And now, but you've since apologized and all that.
That's good.
Yeah. Well, I made a TikTok video.
This is the first body language piece that I kind of want to bring to your attention. Notice that when she finally admits, like, I made a TikTok video, his lip kind of, I almost want to like rewatch it, actually. Yeah, the eyebrow furrow. You can see it very distinctly. Dude's not impressed.
That's good.
Yeah.
Sorry, I wish I could.
Well, I made a TikTok video.
This is the kind of processing that you will see in a person who is really upset, but due to the additional layer of being recorded, is forced into a silent stoicism that he can't leave. And she's really banking on this right now. She has not told him what it is they're recording or why, and he sure doesn't know, but he does know that he's being recorded and that he better act properly, and that he doesn't get the privilege of displaying the same rage that she may be allowed to display had he been the one sitting her down to record her reaction to him telling her what she's about to tell him.
The mess in the situation. And like over 1 million people.
Now, I also want you to pay attention to this. What she's doing here is the giggling is one technique, but another is that she's speaking as slowly as possible because with each second she's gauging his reaction to figure out the exact next tactic she needs to be deploying. So you'll notice that she'll switch lanes. Here she said, ha ha ha, it was shown to over 1 million people. But as she reads into his reaction and sees that he's reacting negatively, she will change that number. And mind you, at the time of this being recorded, it had actually been viewed by over 3 million people.
And I was really nervous that you were gonna find out about the TikTok.
Oh, were you?
Because you don't even have the TikTok.
It's hard to say or understand what he said in that moment. It's what's happening right now is this is really awkward, but both of them are losing their breath in nervousness for different reasons. She starts to get quieter and quieter as she almost like her breath is being sucked into itself from nerves because she has no idea how he's going to react next. That's why she has the camera, that's why she has the tool, her backup, her witnesses. Okay? Not because I think that the dude's actually abusive, but again, because I think that she knows deep down that she did him dirty and has a reason to feel a little bit guilty. But that's why we're seeing the body language the way that we are. So if you didn't hear what she just said, she said, I was nervous because you don't have a TikTok. And what do I always point out about these partner shamers? I would say the grand majority of them feel so empowered and confident in making these videos because they are dating someone who is private, who does not have social media. And people who are dating people who are involved in social media do not tend to post these kinds of things because they would be immediately caught. She didn't think she would be immediately caught. That's kind of messed up. There's no part about the fact that she seems to be getting away with it that makes up for the fact that she did this knowing that he didn't consent to any of it. And it goes on.
But I was nervous someone was, of those 1 million people, someone was gonna know.
Now it magically becomes only 1 million. Two seconds ago, it was over 1 million when she knew at the time of recording this that we had long passed 2 million. Okay? Now it's back down to 1. Okay? It's the minimization technique. It's the... Well, what's really the difference between 1 million people telling me I should divorce you and 3 million? It's all the same at that point, right, babe? Cognitive dissonance.
Oh, who you were, and be like,
She can't even finish the sentence, and it's disguised as this is just so funny that this happened. It's so funny and silly and crazy that it blew up this way. But what she's trying to say is like, oh, because I made this silly video, isn't this so funny?
yeah. And the reason I wanted to tell you in person is because
I'm sorry, brace yourselves. Brace yourselves right now, because I know that there's a lot of you watching who made the same mistake I did, who at this point in the video, you're like, yeah, she's becoming self-aware at how out of control this has gotten, and this is where they're gonna bridge the divides and come together as a couple, and it's gonna have a happy ending. And just don't make that mistake. Just don't do it. Life is already full of too much disappointment. So just know, I promise you, it's only getting worse.
your feelings hurt because The comments are like 8,000 people weighed in.
Can we just take a moment to look over that one more time? I didn't want you to get your feelings hurt because the comments aren't, she can't even finish that sentence because she doesn't even know of a good enough way to minimize saying the commenters hate you. There was one comment where a woman asked, does he know that he's a villain on the internet yet? That's how bad they are. But her way of minimizing it is they aren't vaguely gesturing. Now, watch his face when she tries to minimize and downplay and pretend it's not a big deal, the fact that 8,000 people are telling her to leave him. Watch his face.
The comments are like 8,000 people weighed in.
This is pure cope. I think that's part of like what has made me feel so uncomfortable watching this, is just watching him have to cope with this to protect her and her feelings.
A lot of people.
You can watch her trying to read his face. She's either, when she talks, just notice this. When she talks, when she's speaking, she has to look away from him. But immediately after she's done, she looks back at him to start reading and processing. And there we have it again. She just apologized. She just said sorry, but she's laughing. Meaning that it's not a real apology, it's kind of a joke apology. And I bet you when he apologized to you for whatever it is he actually said, that he wasn't laughing and secretly recording it. I guess it's not secretly recorded, but I bet he wasn't laughing during his apology, right? The fact that you're apologizing shows that you know you should feel guilty, that you should feel bad, and that's when she needs to backpedal. The minute she realized that she accidentally apologized out loud and accidentally brought the ball back into her court where she has to hold on any accountability, that's when she remembers, wait. I can't say anything that would make me look like a contributor in any of the toxicity of this relationship. So what she's going to do now is once again just choose violence. I just don't think that these people have the forethought. It's so much of just this reactionary anger in the moment, and yet she can't seem to let it go. Like I said, this dude was probably having a whole blast while she was gone, and this is just a perfect one of those situations where we have to remember the Buddhist mantra that holding on to anger and hatred and resentment is like drinking poison but hoping your enemy dies. That's exactly what happened here. Is she was so upset at whatever like offhand comment that this guy made, which I'm sure at the end of the day she had every right to be upset about, and it's probably a good thing he apologized for it. But because of her inability to actually accept that apology or to work on the communication there without leaving the house to get to the bottom of why she didn't feel the apology was good enough, or what other dynamics within the home they still need to work on so that she can feel more secure that the apology was sincere. Instead, she chose to just keep manifesting inside of that anger, just marinating it and letting it seep into her until seemingly nothing that he could do would be enough. It's like all she wanted was to just keep getting to be angry about it. And I guess my final note to end on is it's normal to be angry. It's okay to be angry. And if you're angry, you should work it out. But there comes a point where you just can't keep holding on to it. You gotta make like Elsa and let it go, dude. Let it go.